Then, after 20 years of this first revelation, after 20 years of this first revelation, the Lord said, when I was in my office, in my smaller office there, He said, Inya, I said, yeah, my Lord. He said, turn to this chart. As at that time, it was, this had the first chart looks like. This one is the very first one that was published in 1990. Have you seen it? 1990. Then this one was the one that came up in 1997. So it was this one the Lord said, look at it. He said, I'm going to give you another version of my revelation. And I said, Lord, as the God pleases. So after a month thereabout, he started up. And when he started up, you could see it. You could see it here. This is a new. And then I put there, this God's clock for humanity. In this God's clock for humanity, the principal people are Christian leaders that open the heavens. And when the heaven opens, then he causes the secret that the devil has hidden to be released, that both believers and unbelievers, if you look at this, both believers and unbelievers, names are here. Even Charles Darwin's name is here. You say, why do you put it? Yes, because it was God's clock for humanity to showcase that He's a creator. And which the next chart I will show you so that you can really see it and showcase that just as God said, for this reason I raised up Pharaoh, so also God raised up some skeptics, some atheists to also testify, and someone like Charles Darwin to also kick against creation. Though today it is now believed and know that that one was wrong, absolutely wrong. So you can see it here. You can see it how it follows, just like the other one. It follows like this. It follows like this. So this is where we are. Both Christians' names and secular names are here in this particular one. But to make it show you what I really mean and where He based it, the Lord said that He was basing this revelation from when Christ came into the world, which is in Christian theology is called incarnation, God becoming man, to when Christ had come back again the second time. From that period that Jesus Christ came into the world to when He shall come back to reign, it is based on that. And then remember that I have mentioned that God used 7 days for creation. 6 days He created, and the 7th day He rested. So in redemption, God is also using that. And it could intrigue you to know that He used Genesis, chapter 1 of Genesis, to chapter 2 of Genesis 1 to 2 for the 7 days to equate how Genesis show forth and influence human history. That's why before I explain here, the book, this is the book that is written that marries the two chart. This, God's call for humanity, and the creation age and the church age. And in this book, it gives you full Genesis. It gives you details. And it's inviting skeptics, atheists, unbelievers, those who say, now there's no God. They will say, no, God did not create the heavens and the earth. No. Let them stand up. The proof is here. and history justify that the Bible is true. Can you imagine? Look at it here. Here, the first day is Genesis chapter 1 verse 3. And the Bible says, and God said, let there be light. And there was light. Is it not what Genesis says? Is it not what Genesis says? Listen to me. Are you listening? Respond. I want you to listen. Yes. Now, if you look at it here, you go across. You can see that. You go across. This 4 BC to AD. That's from Christ, when Christ birth, to Acts of the Apostles, chapter 31 to chapter 12, covers this. And here, the Bible says, Jesus said, I am the light of the world. Are you listening? Yes. I am the light of the world. And he turned to the disciples and said, you are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill that cannot be hid. And Jesus said, if I be lifted up, I will draw all men unto myself. That is the light. You can see it here. The cross of Christ, the finished work of Christ, of the work of Christ on the cross, bring forth the light. And this light illuminates the whole world. That's why people could be saved, could become born again. Their eyes could be open. It is this liberation that brought a restraint to the devil for the secret of science to start shooting out. It is agreed, very, very much agreed, that modern science emerged as a result of Christianity, from the premises of Christianity, not from the premises of Greek, not from the premises of Chinese, this thing. No. History tells us. It is real dynamic Christians that champion it, and they brought forth, like Isaac, Newton, and all. They brought forth. You see, if God is the creator of the heavens and earth, and see how calculative he is in his book, the Holy Book, then this universe cannot be contradictory. It must also have principle, and they started to discover, and that's why science came up. Science came up as a result of the illumination that come from the finished work of Christ upon the world. That is why on the second day, God says, let the firmament keep up and down. So we have the up and down. So we have here as the firmament, that's day 2. And in that firmament, you can see it here as it is. Then in AD 46 to 1520 is the period of what we have as here, we have it as the Roman epoch. We have it as the Roman epoch. And in that period, one of those, it is Paul that opened up, because he was a leader. And under Paul, we have other great scientists. Abrego Lorosa. We have Angelo, Thomas Aquinas, Victoria Colorina, Leonardo da Vinci. These are great names as far as history are concerned. They were all here, and these are the people who helped to bring out the law of science, for science to be based on their Christian background, that God cannot contradict himself. Then we see here in Germany, the 3. That's why here we say the divide. The divide is here. I put here the divide, and then in this side I put here the good governance and bad governance. These statutes are not my original. It's historical statutes that I copied and put here. That's true about good governance. When a good a person that has godly fear is in power, will have peace, will have development. And when evil one is in power, the other one defeat God and the angels, while the other one defeat the devil, showing it here. We have bad government. So this has been, and that is when we have some travail in history. Then the third day, so we can see when you say the divine, we can see good governance and bad governance. That's the divine in humanity. And then here, the third day here, we have it as the 3, which is earth and vegetation. God, now after he has spoken about the firmament, he now turned and look at the waters. He said, you, all of the earth, all of the ground is covered with water. You water gather. I command you now, gather. And the water gather and gather. And now when he has gathered to form ocean, rivers, streams, you look at the earth. You look at what I made, and it was earth. And he called it earth. And he told the earth, bring forth vegetation. And it is upon that earth that vegetation were coming, that he created vegetation, he created animals and others. So here we see that that's covered the German period. And in that German period, we have something that happened in history, very powerful. Remember that religion played a great role. Now, as history makes us to see, I'm not going to go through detail there, the scientists and others try everything they could to knock God out completely and religious out of existence. But they tried and tried, they could not. They discovered that they cannot. That there is still small something around creation they cannot understand. And that aspect is faith that deals with religion, that goes with religion. And that is where God came out. So here we have, there was a Roman Catholic Church, was a dominant church, just like the water covered the whole surface. So the Roman Catholic Church was the dominant church from this period, of somewhere from 15, for about 1,000 years, Catholic was dominated. And anyone that propagates a doctrine that is contrary to what they believe, you are martyred, you are killed. But here, on that German soil, something happened. And that was when Martin Luther, a monk, was raised up. And he called, just like when God said, you water, gather one side. And when the water was gathered, he now saw earth and called it earth. And vegetation started to come. It's now, he used Martin Luther to cause exodus, to cause separation, to cause what they call Protestantism, and they now gather. And as the water gathered, the emerging was Protestantism, where truth was now given to preach. When people could now stand again to preach about the truth and believe that God changes life and things like that. So that's where you see it here. And I put down here two things here. Printing press, I put down here, was first discovered at this period in time. And in the vegetation, the instrument that give ink and papers and everything to printing press are on this earth. So printing press was first created in Germany, and the first book to be printed was the Bible. And then here we also know the importance of vegetation to our health in terms of our medicine and what will keep us alive, all came from here. That's why it was this period that science, medical science, emerged, and the circulation of blood was discovered at this period. Before now, they say, oh, they have 2 kinds of blood. No, until Dr. Havers, who came after 20 years of study, he came out to kick against it. He said, no, it is called blood circulation. This is a period we should agree with the earth and vegetation.